Let's have a look at how to configure the MFX4 reader using YSoft's card reader tool. This is a common use case where a customer is using one or more technologies but needs to extend with another one. First, plug in the MFX4 reader using USB and start the YSoft card reader tool. In the tool, let's start by configuring the card to its default. Press Configure, Reset to Defaults. Reset everything. Done! In the protocol column, you'll find information about the default state protocol, which is 1803, containing all known protocols that the card reader can work with. It's time to configure our reader for the first scenario, where our customer is using, for example, HID procs, and doesn't want the reader to read any other card technologies. At the default state, HID procs cards are registered as well as all other technologies, like Logic Advent and MyFair. All technologies are readable and identifiable. That's something we want to change. In the card reader tool, you can see used card types in the reading test. For example, MyFair. Here we see MyFair Classic 1K or MyFair DS Fire. To set up the HID procs, start by switching to card testing. Select the reader you're using for this purpose. For this example, we have the MFX4 Ultimate Reader. If you have more readers, make sure to select the right one from the drop-down list. Then click Continue. From the briefcase, grab the card holder. With it, you'll make sure the card is in the ideal position, 2 centimeters above the antenna. Place the HID procs card and click Start Testing in the tool. From the test, you get insights into the card's properties, configurations, and identifications. In the example, one unique card technology was detected. For the Ultimate Reader, the suggested technology is HID procs only. Confirm with your customer if the suggested technology matches the technology that they want to use. Select the technology and press the card and pen icon to create your configuration for the selected card type. Click Create. Once completed, remove the card from the holder. You'll see the configuration for the HID procs only, or whichever technology your customer prefers, which you can store directly on the reader by pressing Store to Reader. But usually, our customers have more readers, and in that case, it's beneficial to instead create a configuration card. Let's go ahead and create a configuration card. Place the configuration card on the card holder. Under Device Configuration, you can enable or disable the device sound. In Actions, you will write the configuration to the card and find its custom configuration. At this stage, the configuration card is ready for us to test it. Switch back to Reading Test in the left side menu. Again, we will see that the protocol is 1803, containing all known protocols that the card reader can work with. Place the configuration card on the holder. You'll see the reader shining blue because the card is a programming card. Give it a couple of seconds until you see the Processed Successfully notice. The card is now programmed. Remove the configuration card and check that the protocol says User Configuration. Check that the reader still reads HID procs, which it should, as that's the technology it has been configured for. If you try to read MyFair or any other card, the card reader will not react as it's configured just for HID procs. Here, we test all other cards and none of the other technologies work. Only the HID procs will be readable. If the customer needs additional technologies in the future, like Logic Advent for instance, the reader can be reconfigured to extend what technologies it can register. Here's how you extend readable technologies in just a few steps. If you still have the configuration stored in the card reader tool, you can use that. Switch back to card testing. Again, select the card reader you want to use. Click Continue. Let's start by adding the HID procs technology. Click HID procs only, the configuration icon, then Create. Once you've created the configuration for this card, go ahead and copy the configuration code. Switch back to card testing. Now we repeat the process, but with the Logic Advent card. Select your reader and place the Logic Advent card on the card holder. Wait for the tool to scan the card. This will take a few seconds. Find the correct reader among the compatible reader types and select the card type that the customer wants. For example, Logic Advanced UIN. Click on the configuration icon, then Create. Remove the card from the holder. You'll now have the Logic Advanced UIN configuration. Paste in the HID procs only configuration code underneath. In the Logic Advanced configuration, you see that LF is disabled, but the HID procs is working in LF. We see the same with the HID procs configuration, which has HF disabled. Remove both of these disable directives. Once the directive lines are gone, you can validate the syntax to check that the configuration is valid. Again, you can choose to store the configuration on the reader or switch to Actions and write it to a configuration card. Let's test the configuration card. Switch back to Reading Test. Right now, it still shows the old configuration with just HID procs. Place the new configuration card on top of it, do the reader programming, and in a few seconds, it will be updated. There you have it. Now the reader accepts both Logic Advanced and HID procs. And of course, the reader is configured to ignore all other card technologies. Let's go over what we have shown you in this video. We have created a configuration just for HID procs cards. We also created a configuration card with the correct settings. For situations where customers need additional technologies later on, we've demonstrated how you can reconfigure the settings to extend the list of readable and identifiable card technologies, like adding Logic Advanced.